Hello, everybody. Rotoworld Draft Day is rolling on. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined, of course, by Mr. Denny Carter, but then also two of our best friends in the entire industry, the deep shots, Andy Behrens. He's going to tell us all about his new website, and Mr. Best Ball himself, Patrick Kerrane of Legendary Upside. Sure, a traitor to our website, but still a thought leader in the space. Someone I trust more on Best Ball than just about anyone else in the entire industry. We are going to do, Pat, what are we doing? A DK
DraftKings $15 million Best Ball Millionaire tournament.
And you get $15 million for entering this, correct?
It costs, yeah, I believe that's what it is. There's, I guess, a $15 million prize pool, $2 million to first.
I can only win $2 million.
Andy doesn't do anything.
It's worth an hour of my time.
Yeah, Andy only enters usually. We told him it was worth $5, and we trapped him here though. Real quick, Pat, you're Mr. Best Balls. I just laid it out. What are the specs of this DK tournament?
So there's 1,000 people in the final, which is one thing to consider. It's an even bigger final than like Best Ball Mania over an Underdog, but there's it's a little bit easier to advance to the final. The cut downs are a little less aggressive in weeks 15 and 16, but it's a very similar kind of mindset where you're trying to get a team to the final that then is actually live to win first place among 1,000 teams in a single week. So you need a lot of upside in week 17 in a single week.
How many rounds are there in this one, Pat?
There's 20 rounds on DraftKings, so it's a little different that way. It goes deeper.
Andy, how many articles are live on your new site? Where can we find you? Tell us about the deep shot.
There's so many articles live. There's probably, I don't know, there's over 40 things live right now. A lot of ranks, a lot of things I think I probably wouldn't have been able to write at the old place. It's the deep shot. It's me. It's Dalton Del Don. Couple of big fantasy outcasts, just doing our thing. Writing a lot of the same stuff that we would have written, perhaps in a slightly different tone. It's been fun. Been a good time. You're
also, of course, one of the ultimate fantasy incasts, and Christopher Harris, podcasting impresario. Andy will be working with him this year. Denny, you work for our website. We don't need to really talk about Denny. The draft has gone live now, and now Denny is sharing his screen. We're going to be focusing the most on his team, but Andy, Pat, and Denny all in the same best ball draft. We're going to be getting 3 different approaches, 3 different either strokes of good fortune, strokes of misery, best ball draft. There's very few and far between. Who has picked so far? Who wants to immediately start talking about their team? Let's start with your first picks, Andy. Who did you get?
I am picking Bijan Robinson right now. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Bijan Robinson at 4. I don't know. Call me a contrarian. I'm happy to take my number 1 overall player at 4.
I take Tyler Algier at 4 myself. Just me.
I mean, his contingent value is pretty strong there. You got to say
it's outrageous. And you know what? Kyle and Pat refuse to talk about it.
We do. We shout down, almost literally shout down Denny if he brings up Tyler Algier on the Rotoworld Football Show. But this isn't the Rotoworld Football Show. Denny can get off on a technicality when he takes him later. Denny, who are you taking at pick 7?
Yeah, I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is PPR. I'll tell these guys. I'm going to attempt a Lions stack. And they're going to ruin it for me. They're going to take Jared Goff in the 2nd to foil my plan. But
Crane, who did you? I did not say who you picked in round 1, Patrick. Who did you take?
I took Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm trying to get more Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm writing up my legendary running back article. I wrote up the Gibbs one already. The Gibbs one was fun. The Gibbs one, I'm like, he doesn't stop just at 23 PPR points per game. He turns in 25 plus, joining guys like Le'Veon Bell, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. Is an absolute rare back to do that. I think in writing him up too, I'm like, I think he's kind of safer than we give him credit for because he's so good that like I think there's kind of this feeling of, is he going to have the role? Is he going to get the big workload shift that we want? And I think Montgomery will be involved, but he's probably the best back in the league now. And he's got such he's such an incredible receiver. He already does get used at the goal line. He already does have a pretty awesome rushing role. It's just not perfect. So I think kind of the safety and then the access to like absolutely massive upside I just feel like I can't get enough Gibbs, and I don't want to fade any of the other guys. I think they're all good picks at the top, but I've been breaking ties to him a little bit more recently.
He has access to legendary upside. Denny, I heard you take a breath. What were you about to say?
Yes, you know my breath. I was wondering if the Gibbs late season usage with Montgomery sideline last year, how much that factors into how you're valuing Gibbs going into this year, like the whole genie getting out of the bottle and not being able to get back in.
I think there's part of that, and then they get a new OC, and he's comparing him to Reggie Bush and stuff. Like, there's imagine you were put in charge of the Lions offense. You had expert knowledge of the Lions offense. You were their pass game coordinator for the last 2 years. Now you're in charge. Like, it's a great offense. You're going to tweak a couple things. Like, number one on my tweak list would be more Gibbs. Yeah. So I think we're going to get more Gibbs. I really do. And he's in such a great situation outside of giving up some of that work to David Montgomery. And then you also look at the work he was giving up to Montgomery. Montgomery led the NFL in yards per route run last year because he got targeted really heavily on play action. Well, if Gibbs is trusted more in kind of the early down stuff, that's also going to lead to more play action. That's going to lead to more receptions. It kind of getting that little extra confidence as him as a traditional rusher unlocks a whole new receiving element to his profile too. So things just stack quickly with Gibbs. And I do think these guys, they know what they have now. It'd be kind of crazy to try to scale them back.
Pat, can you guys both try to build a lion stack? I think that would be fantastic.
I was going to say, they fight over Andy Dalton.
Against each other.
Yeah, people are fighting over Andy Dalton out in the streets here in America.
Really
I think Pat is right. Any outside audit of the Lions offense would immediately call for more Gibbs. We're going to go ahead and need more Jahmyr Gibbs. And real quick, by the way, we're going to need more Fantasy Life. Get personalized fantasy football insights based on your league settings with Fantasy Life Plus. Your league is unique. Your advice should be too. Head to fantasylife.com and use promo code ROTO20 for 20% off. Andy Behrens, what round are we in? This is best ball, a 14-second timer. I'm assuming around 14. Take us through your first 14 picks. Now take us through your first 2 or 3 picks.
Yeah, we're only in round 3, it turns out. Yeah, I started with Bijan Robinson. He's number 1 overall on my board. I followed that with a running back who has the same bye week. That's what you got to do. That's how best ball's played, right? With Josh Jacobs, who I'm just, I'm going to end up ahead of pre-rank and ADP on a lot of these guys because I've got Jacobs as somebody that you can plausibly take at the back end of the first round. He's been one of my favorite players since he came into the league. He's much flashier than people give him credit for because he's not, he doesn't have the Jahmyr Gibbs home run ability necessarily. But nobody makes people miss quite like Jacobs does. One of my favorite players to watch. And I took JSN in the third round. Man, I'm just stacking up high-powered offenses here. I think JSN is actually a sneaky strong candidate to lead the NFL in targets and receptions this year. I think he's going to be fantastic out of the slot, moving around.
Andy just put Amon-Ra, Denny's first round pick, on blast. Denny, who do you have beyond the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown?
So I reached by about 10 picks on James Williams.
You don't ever do that in best ball. I've heard you just never ever reach ever. You just stick solely on ADP.
I was trying to destroy value where I could find it. So I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and I have Brock Bowers as well. I took Bowers in the second. So my plan would be, please shut your ears, Andy and Kerrane, would be to obviously stack Lions, but also try to stack some Raiders, get Geno and Jacoby Myers, and go with it.
Sounds like a horrible plan. It sounded good until that second part where you talked about stacking Geno. And guess what? You revealed your plans. Pat just took Isaac Tesla. So round 4, because Goff was already gone. Andy took Goff just to mess with both of you. No.
Oh, God, I'm up.
Denny's up while he's thinking. Pat, take us through the beginning of your draft. We know that you have Jahmyr Gibbs. We know you're probably going to get outgunned for Jared Goff, but who do you have in rounds 2 and 3?
Yeah, I already capitulated on Goff, and I took Lamar Jackson. just got right out of Denny's way there. So, Denny, he's available to you in round 5.
Good.
Denny, now that you've picked, you can actually hit draft board there next to players if you want to show people the draft.
Show draft board.
No, not there. Over to the left.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That
hell
way,
yeah.
Pat can see what's going on.
I can see, but then Denny cannot see his queue, of course. But
Well, yeah, Denny's gonna have to switch back and forth.
That's okay.
This is
life of
looking
a
really good
streamer.
here. Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. They were the first 3 picks. But yeah, the legendary upside. They got Gibbs. They got Ladd. They got Lamar. They have a 4th pick that they're currently panicking over. Kerrane panics over every single best ball pick. I know. He's not very cool-headed in these situations.
Not like you.
No. No.
He hasn't been through it. Hasn't been through
I
it.
know. He hasn't been through it before. And, well, oh, my gosh. Listen, so you're still on this thing? You're still on the Brees
I'm
thing?
still on it, brother.
Well,
still on it.
make the case, because Denny was making the 0 RB case for Braylon Allen on one of our recent podcasts. Make the case for why he's going to live to regret that for the rest of his
I think Braylon Allen's actually a pretty good pick. My thing with Brees is that they're talking him up as a receiver. Now there's like a split happening where they're playing Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen, which is a real bummer.
Yes.
Hang on, let me pick here. And so, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some concern, and I've lowered him in our rankings. He was at like the 3-4 turn before. Now he's at the 5-6 turn. But I kind of don't want to get, like, when I look back in December at like how I evaluated the news in August, I don't want to be like, remember when, because of some preseason snaps, I decided that Brees Hall wasn't any different than Isaiah Davis? That was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, it's Brees Hall, it's Isaiah Davis, it's Braylon Allen, who honestly stunk last year. I know that he's supposed to have taken a step forward, and I'm sure he'll be better than last year, but I'm not afraid of those guys. I'm really not. And look, they're going to rotate. Like, my thing with Brees is kind of get comfortable with being frustrated about his role, because you're going to be frustrated in September. You're probably going to be a little frustrated in October, but this is a talent-based bet. He's going to take more of that job as the season goes on. I think it's going to become very evident that if they're trying to be competitive, they need to have Brees Hall out on the field and not these other running backs. So in a tournament that rewards week 17 upside, I think him falling to the late 4th, he's a target there. When he falls to the 5th, I think he's an absolute smash. Like that just shouldn't happen.
That's a pretty convincing case there, Brees Hall, who I still have yet to see any evidence yet that he is not considerably better than Isaiah Davis, and especially Braylon Allen. Like you said, maybe Braylon Allen is this year's Tank Bigsby, kind of a power guy who just was a little sluggish as a rookie, looks better as a sophomore. That's a possible outcome for Braylon Allen. But we think that Brees Hall is still better. Yeah. Denny, we think it's the 5th round. You took your first running back, James Conner. And what are your thoughts on Brees?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask Kerrane that does it worry you at all with Brees that, Justin Fields does not throw to running backs like most mobile quarterbacks? Like there's not a ton of like volume to go around there.
So he threw to the running backs, I think, about as much as Russ last year. And the other thing is that their number 2 wide receiver, locked in, unquestioned, is Josh Reynolds. Their number 1 tight end is a rookie who's like, coach's son, super coachable, does all the stuff right. But like, is he good?
Didn't score touchdowns in college and then somehow went in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
So it's like Garrett Wilson. And then I honestly think Brees could be number 2. He could be the number 2 target on this offense with stuff that's designed for him, screens and, getting the ball, like literally first read stuff where they're just like, let's get the ball to Brees here because we have Garrett Wilson and no one else downfield.
It's a scarily empty skill core.
It's actually, I kind of forgot that Garrett Wilson's the only guy like in that whole offense who's going to catch passes. So that actually does make some sense.
I love that Denny won't simply just come out and say something critical about Brees Hall. He has to. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions. Energy. Yeah.
I didn't know it was illegal to ask questions.
I thought it was illegal for you to take James Conner in the 5th round.
Yeah, I mean, it's not,
running backs or old running backs are good.
It's not a great. I don't feel great about it, but I mean, you're locking in like the clear RB1 in an offense that's going to run a lot. I don't know.
So the guy in my home league draft was saying the guy who took James Conner. He said, "I hope you know the name Trey Benson. You're gonna be hearing it a lot." This is not a joke, actually.
I don't know, man.
I don't agree with that.
I don't know about Trey Benson.
Nah, he's terrible. He's never been good. Andy, you have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. Is that you?
No, we're not looking at me. I'm willing to trade with that guy right now.
Are you in the 2 spot, Andy?
Rosters. I'm in the 4th spot.
The 4th spot. Of course, that would be the username A Behrens. Would be who you are with Bajan.
Yeah, I'm the one that has my name.
Yes, Bajan, Josh Jacobs, JSN, the aforementioned Garrett Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Matthew Golden. What do you think about Ricky Pearsall and Matthew Golden? How did you prioritize Pearsall? They're kind of become 2 of the absolute key mid-round wide receivers. Key in that big bets are being placed on them one way or another. Some people are betting on a big step forward. Other people are still fading. You ended up with both. So I guess you prioritize Pearsall, and just what are your overall expectations for both?
Yeah, honestly, it didn't feel like much of a bet. Sorry, I'm picking right now. It didn't feel like much of a big bet, particularly with Ricky Pearsall. I think that guy's going to be a star. And I drafted him at a spot that was pretty consistent with my ranks. I've got him as a wide receiver 2 right now. I actually feel, and I feel kind of hedgy about that. I feel kind of like I'm holding back a little bit. I feel much stronger about Ricky Pearsall. That guy's going to be the Niners wide receiver 1. I think that much is pretty clear. I don't want to read that much into preseason, but he was perfectly in sync with Brock Purdy in preseason. Obviously, people know how his year ended last year. Final 2 games were, I don't know what better proof of concept you're looking for than 18 targets. I think it was 14 catches, a couple hundred yards, and he looks like he can house every reception that he gets, right? He's one of those guys where a lot of receivers come into the league and the combine numbers are great and they got 4.4 speed and they got 40-inch verticals and all that, but you don't really see it on the field, but you just absolutely see it with Ricky Pearsall. And I think in an offseason in which he doesn't get shot and it's just normal and he gets to just spend, his entire summer in the program, I think he's going to be sensational. So I have very few doubts about him. And then Golden, it turns, I don't think of myself as being particularly susceptible to, camp clips and the stuff coming across my social feed. But when a guy shows up like multiple times a day, every time they have a joint practice, we're getting Matthew Golden camp clips. Every little 7-on-7 session, we're getting Matthew Golden clips. I'm buying. I like everything that I've seen so far. It's a case where like the players, the coaches, the beat writers, they're all just saying the same thing about Golden. He looks like a star. Everything I've seen looks the same. I was way too low on him in rookie drafts, and I'm making up for it during best ball season for sure.
Well, rookies are going higher than ever in drafts this year, it feels like. And a standard trope of fantasy is the first round receiver people tried to talk themselves out of and didn't draft. That was Matthew Golden. It is fascinating now that we've reversed course before the season actually started. So it's gone both ways on Matthew Golden, and he is just one of the absolute most key on the spot guys this year. Patrick Kerrane, how you doing? What you thinking about? How's your team looking?
Yeah, I took the other side of the Andy bet on the 49ers, took Juwan Jennings. I was really hoping Golden would come back to me. I was pretty disappointed when you sniped him. Have that week 17 correlation there with Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers.
Of course, obviously that we all knew.
Yeah,
who was
everyone knows
that. So that was a bummer, but yeah, I still like Jennings. I mean, the calf thing is made me a little bit nervous, but he was the guy. Like, I know Pearsall was a rookie and got shot, but he was the guy last year who was operating as the number 1, and I think he's still live to be the number 1 this year, especially for the beginning of the season while Ayuk is out. So. Depends on where he stands with the organization after missing all of training camp. But yeah, I've been pushing him to the 7th. I thought about taking Olave there, grab Pacheco, because I figured I might be able to get Olave. And if not, I could probably get Jennings or even Judy, who was there, but I took Jennings over him. So yeah, push that wide receiver 3 to round 7. Kind of have this balanced build. Not like my typical build. I'm usually a bit wide receiver heavier, but on DraftKings, some of the wide receivers go really late. There's more value at wide receiver in rounds 9, 10, 11 than on Underdog.
There's not a ton of stacking going on on this board. I'm just looking through some teams. Usually it's more stack heavy, but
No stacking. Come on. Give me
I mean,
some credit here.
I'm not no stacking, but not much.
I got Lamar's
Idiot.
double stacked with Flowers and Andrews here.
It better be golf time for you, by the way, Denny.
Oh,
Yeah, I was actually starting to get a little sweaty looking at that.
if it's not, you might literally see me cry on air
Because you have Laporta, you have the triple stack, right? You have JMO, Laporta, and Amonra. Yeah, wow. It's golf season.
Come on, baby, live, Jared.
Pat, well, we have a second. Can you try to keep it brief, but explain the week 17 thing to people who probably still don't get it. I've been having it explained to me for 2 or 3 years, and I mostly get it. But explain it yet again, like I'm 5.
Right. So you got it. The 2 out of 12 teams are going to advance out of this league. And then it's going to be 1 out of 12 in a single week tournament in week 15 will advance. And then 1 out of 12 in a single week tournament in week 16. And then you're going to face over 1,000 teams. I think it's 1,021 teams in week 17. And you have to finish first of those teams. So having stacks, like I've got Lamar, Andrews, Flowers. I can have Lamar go nuts, carry along a couple receivers. I've got pieces all hitting my lineup together. That's awesome. But then I also have Jaden Reed in the 9th as a bet that game starts to get a little nutty, and I've got a piece on the other side. I think that the traditional stacking, a quarterback and his receivers is more important. The correlation there is just stronger, but you can actually bet on these specific games in week 17 to be kind of those high total games, the games that you really need to have, and that be what helps you finish first place, which is really hard to do in a tournament this big.
I just look strongly into the Lions week 17 opponent, and it's the Vikings, and all the Vikings are gone. So
including Jordan Addison, Andy Behrens, 3-game suspension, a mid-round wide receiver. As Pat was saying, the receivers go a little later on DK. The mid-round wide receiver, that is a lot of times where leagues are won and lost. Jordan Addison, do we still think? What is Jordan Addison, Andy, to you when he's back in the lineup? What do you think his ceiling is as a weekly wide receiver? Is his ceiling the weekly wide receiver 22? Is it the weekly wide receiver 32? What do you think Jordan Addison's weekly ceiling is once he's back in this lineup?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big believer in the player, and obviously I had a collection of receivers before I took him, so he felt a little bit like.
Real quick, my weekly ceiling, of course, his weekly ceiling is wide receiver 1. I should say, when you think throwing out the first 3 games, what do you think his ceiling for end of season, PPR points per game is what I meant?
Yeah, I think it's probably, if we have to eliminate a chunk of the season, I still think that he's good enough, and he is big play prone enough to still finish in the 20s, which means, as a practical matter, that he's a little better than that, over the final 14 weeks, right? I think he's got big play potential. I think he's really well suited for what I thought JJ McCarthy did very well in college. I think we're going to see a lot of big plays from those two, and he's very well paired with his quarterback.
What's the latest, Pat, on the where are we at in JJ McCarthy? Never been good, always been amazing, a really good athlete. We kept hearing last year, then injured his knee. What is the cope? The explanations? What is going on with JJ McCarthy? To be honest, it's having kind of a quiet training camp. I haven't heard his name a ton.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with JJ McCarthy for best ball is that I think he's just a touch overpriced, at least from where when I start to think about JJ McCarthy, he's usually gone. He's usually just gone. I'm like, oh, JJ McCarthy would be good for me in the next round. And then I just see him go off the board. That's a pretty common experience for me. I find that kind of frustrating, but I don't think it's not oh my God, how could he be going here? It's just the market seems a little bit more excited than I am. But when I wrote him up as a prospect, ahead of the draft, I was the thing, his best case scenario is that he goes to the Vikings, because that's where, and there was obviously a lot of talk at that point that they were interested, but he throws really well to the middle of the field. I think he is going to execute that Kevin O'Connell offense pretty damn well. So I do think there's a lot of upside. Obviously the weapons are awesome. There's every chance that Darnold still stinks. He goes to Seattle and it's oh God. Yeah, right. He was terrible with 2 different franchises and then had 1 good year with the Vikings.
And then the 2 most important games was awful.
And was awful when it mattered. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the idea that like JJ McCarthy, will be so like, how bad does he have to be to actually be bad? Like he could be like kind of bad and still succeed in this situation.
Very, very good point when you put it that way. Denny, you took Michael Pittman Jr. Kyle and I always said Josh Downs has poor man's Antonio Brown in him. You clearly do not believe that. So do you think MPJ is the clear winner of the very dark development of Daniel Jones being named the starting quarterback?
I love this thing where Pat just picks our worst player and is like, wow, you love this guy. Defend it.
Explain yourself.
Explain your MPJ pick, Denny.
I feel like I'm being questioned in the basement of a government building right now. A hot light shining on my face. He's boring. Doesn't get open. Just catches and falls. And he's really good for PPR. I mean, he just, he commands targets at a great clip for somehow. I don't really understand how, because again, he's never open. But he's a kind of guy who Daniel Jones is just going to love. Like we said on the show the other day, Pat, Shane Steichen runs a pretty fast offense, fourth highest pace, offensive pace last year for the Colts. Add some more dropbacks to that, add some more pass attempts, actually, because Daniel Jones will pass more than Anthony Richardson. And that creates quite the little volume bubble for a guy like, what's his face? Downs. And
like, Denny, you're about to time out, by the way, while you're filibustering on Michael Pittman.
Denny, it's always good when you can't remember the player you took.
I'm so excited.
The freaking guy, the horseshoe. Where my Colts at? Woo! Then you finally remember it's Michael Pittman. Andy, do you have any picks you feel like you need to explain right now?
Oh man, what are my picks of regret?
Or just your picks that you feel like could be misunderstood. You don't regret it, but you think someone like me, someone who's always slinging arrows, might not understand why you took a bad play.
I'm building this miserable jet stack, which that's hopeless, right? That's doomed. I'm building the most doomed stack on the board just so I could build one.
Miserable Jets is sort of like saying ATM machine, right? Sort of.
That's basically right. Everyone's saying
a second to get that. Yep. Do you have Fields, by the way?
I do have Fields. Yeah, I've got Fields and Garrett Wilson, and it's the nice thing, I guess. If you want to build a jet stack, they're all there for you.
Josh Reynolds. I'm assuming he's still out there. Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley. The world.
Don't worry, I've got Mason Taylor queued. Don't worry about it. I'm on top of that one.
Who's got some time for sure? Denny.
I took elder millennial Adam Thielen. So we're hoping he can keep it up.
Define we.
Me. But it is the Bryce Assance. That's still happening. And finally, by the way, Kerrane. Finally, RotoPat has conceded that the Bryce Assance is happening.
When? What? Hold on.
Last week you said you saw him play in the preseason.
Oh yeah, I seen a joke tweet about it. Yeah, that's not. I'm not conceding anything. I saw one good play. And then
I sent a text, and you totally capitulated.
Well, you're not supposed to talk about the text. I didn't totally capitulate, by the way. It was along the lines of, well, I am screwed if this happens, and I was allowing for the possibility that it might happen.
Oh, well, thank you for allowing the possibility that he's actually good.
And not allowing for that possibility that he might be good for fantasy somehow, that he might trick people.
I mean, he has that dog in him now. He didn't, now he does.
I have seen him yelling at people several times.
Got a full dog insertion, huh?
Dog transplant into, and he had it's like I want like a really scary dog. One of like the really scary one. And no, that one's too scary.
Not a corgi.
Yeah, maybe just a Doberman, not a full rod or pit, maybe a Dobe.
We don't want kids to cry.
No, I was terrified of my dad's friend's Doberman growing up. Pat Kerrane, how are we feeling about our team so far? I know you've done a lot of these. How's this stack up to your best, worst, most indifferent DK squads?
Yeah, I kind of played. The idea here was that I could, kind of keep pace at wide receiver, maybe fall a little behind early, and then get some depth in kind of 9, 10, 11. And I got Jaden Reed, Christian Kirk, and Luther Burden. I feel pretty good about that. I got Stroud stacked now with Kirk.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey is the bring back on the Texans stuff in week 17. So got a little game stack there. Took Austin Eckler as my RB4, little veteran production, kind of help fill out the depth. So I feel pretty good. I have one tight end, Mark Andrews, stacked with Lamar. And I'm now at 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, 1 tight end.
Do the double Ravens tight end stack for me, please. Please do it. Please.
It falls far enough.
So Kerrane, when Kerrane came on the show a few weeks ago, I'm not up, am I?
Yeah, you are.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
When Kerrane came on the show, we both of us said Luther Burden could be the wide receiver 1 for the Bears this year. Pat said absolutely not. Greg Olsen during the Bears preseason game the other day,
known Bears hater,
he said outright, he was like, the team believes Luther Burden can be their wide receiver 1 this season.
Wow.
And I was like, I knew it. Thank you, Greg Olsen, making me feel good
interesting. He has no known Bears connections to me, by the way, so he's not a Bears hater.
I do just want to back that up. Olsen was glowing about Luther Burden, and it was a great Burden game. Again, it was just preseason. They're all playing at the wrong time, and they were playing against the junior varsity Bills. But that was a great game.
He has the potential, especially in a screen heavy offense like Ben Johnson's. He has the potential to look. His ADP has the potential to look ridiculous come October.
Mm-hmm. Ridiculous. Like
well, he's Percy Harvin reincarnated is like the upside outcome for him, and it's not that far fetched of an outcome. That's the style of football Luther Burden plays: is rolling ball of butcher knives. Percy Harvin, like he's so difficult to bring down. As I say over and over again, the problem is when you do bring him down, he tends to limp off the field. But maybe he's maturing. Maybe he's learning how to play through all that. He is a really strong guy. And then Luther Burden, he does so many of the things potential busts do. But I have always added the caveat, like genuinely too, that there is an upside outcome where he's the next Percy Harvin because he is that hard to bring down and that scary with the ball in his hands.
So, and also I have to, you know what? I'm a Caleb hater. Everybody knows this. I've been very unfair to Caleb.
You have been actually.
I have to give him credit. I will never not give credit where it's due, and I will give credit where it's due here. Caleb looked really solid in that preseason game because he took 3 steps back and stopped and threw the ball. And
that is a new thing for him.
I've never seen him do that. It was actually odd to watch because you're like, I didn't know you could do that.
It's nice
so the room I was in,
Caleb, that's
the room I was in was just all meathead Bears fans, right? And we're so excited when he just threw the ball away.
Yeah.
Like when he didn't like turn his back to the line of scrimmage and do something silly and take a 12 yards, he just threw it away. Like they had a screen that got blown up, he just threw it away. I didn't know he could do that.
Me neither. And I did see one of those and I was like, oh, okay, so he's learned something here. That's good.
You were saying something on Caleb earlier. Was it just piling on to boy did my guy like to turn his back to the action and sprint toward the sideline, but not to go out of bounds. It usually be to stop at the sideline and throw or take a absolutely massive hit.
No, I just really enjoyed Denny saying that he had been unfair to Caleb and then saying he'd never once seen him drop back 3 steps and throw.
I mean, his whole thing is like, I'm going to take 3 steps back and now it's time to run around.
Yeah, that is true.
And he made, so I know Andy saw this. He made that seam throw to Komet. He made 2 good throws to Loveland. He made accurate intermediate throws to DJ Moore and then to it was the Burden. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is a different guy. So if that holds up, if they can bring that into the regular season, I'm gonna look like an idiot on Caleb Williams. Like Caleb Williams could actually be good.
Kerrane, there's been so much best ball debate about Luther's been heavily debated at certain points. Roma Dunze has been heavily debated at certain points. DJ Moore, I feel like, is not getting debated as much just because people aren't really sure what to say. Like, on paper, he should be the best receiver in this receiver core. In practice, it's seeming increasingly less likely. But are we like underrating the outcome far too much that DJ Moore is still the clear-cut wide receiver 1? or has that ship sailed?
I think DJ Moore, he was more exciting when Luther Burden wasn't practicing, and there was starting to be some panic on Luther Burden that the guys who used to be at the Athletic, is it Hodge and Johns? They have a podcast. I was checking that out. This was like Burden had not yet practiced. It was, I think, the day before he returned to practice, and they were throwing out red shirt rookie season. Like, it was getting to that level. Like,
Ooh.
that's where Moore was starting to look really interesting, because then you could start to imagine him playing out of the slot, moving around the rotation, moving around the formation, kind of getting some of those like easy button looks from Ben Johnson, some of the Amon-Ra slot stuff. But now the preseason usage with Burden back and throwing, crackdown blocks and looking awesome, it's now like, oh, Moore's kind of their X, and maybe a little bit less creatively used. And actually, like, Zacchaeus might be kind of keeping the seat warm for Burden, who's actually the most valuable role in that offense potentially. So I don't know. I've started to cool on DJ Moore. I've never that excited, but like the potential for him to have this huge bounce back year, I think he needs to be the focal point, and I'm not sure that he is.
DJ Moore is just, to me, one of the ultimate guys. Like, I don't know what to do with this guy. And like, if someone were on a podcast and put me on the spot to say something about DJ Moore, like I just did to you, I don't know, man. Like,
what do you want me to say?
Like, I've been wrong about this guy like 6 or 7 years in a row. Like, he's never been in this crowded of receiver core before. He's a holdover selection. This coaching staff wasn't there when he was at. I don't know, man. What do you want me to say?
He is also coming off just an all-time bad body language season.
Oh, man.
Every game, he just looked exasperated and sick of being there. And I agree with everything Pat said. I think Burden might eventually wind up in the most fruitful role in the offense. It's been such a weird camp to watch and to follow, because Ben Johnson, he'll break himself of this habit, but Ben Johnson just says what he thinks a lot of the time, and
huge mistake.
Great opinion. It's a huge mistake. You never hear it. He doesn't just spit
never
the
change,
usual, like, summertime sunshine. He was really down on Burden in the opening days when he couldn't go, and it was physical, right? It was injury related, but man, was he disappointed.
And I think as punishment, Luther Burden has played mostly with the number 2 with the second team offense in the preseason.
Where's your God now, Kerrane? Huh?
But that's just Ben Johnson being pissy.
Oh, that's a hardo thing, man.
It is. It's
hardo thing.
It's McDaniels energy, the biggest McDaniels energy. I will say a big difference between Ben Johnson and Josh McDaniels is when Josh McDaniels acted like that, like, I would just start laughing. When Ben Johnson acts like that, I am, but like, this guy actually does seem like kind of a psych.
But like, think about you got to put yourself in the hardo brain. Like, nothing goes harder than like putting a guy on the second team and like, you got to earn it, Rook. And then he's like throwing blocks and getting open and looking awesome. And he's like playing his heart out for you after you punished him. That's like so bullish for Burden.
Yeah,
like that dude is going to get so much more opportunity.
LB3, as he's known, except for he's no longer number 3 in the NFL. We've talked about the Bears for about 15 straight minutes. Someone say something about someone other than the Bears. I don't know how to prompt it, but who's got something to say?
I'm doing a little mini Titan stack that's disgusting.
All right, yeah. Pat, what's going on over there with your notes?
The Bears. I want to talk about Roma Doomsday.
Now, Denny evangelizing Cameron Ward. Denny and I keep talking about. Little curious that the number 1 overall pick in the draft does not get talked about more.
Ever.
It's such an unimpressive skill core is one of the problems, Denny.
Yeah.
But what if Cam Ward just makes everyone look better?
What if he makes, guys, look, he's going to make Tyler Lockett fun again. I'm sorry to say.
I was prepared to – I'm not even kidding. I was prepared to not groan. I'm just going to let Denny say what he's going to say. I'm not going to groan. And he said Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, you can groan all you want. Hey, talk to me after week 3 and when everyone's like, should I start Tyler Lockett over Garrett Wilson? Oh my God.
Pat, where are we at on cutting Denny's mic? We're not doing that anymore.
It was universally agreed. Even Denny claimed he thought it was funny, but never again. It can never be done. Never again.
I said Tyler Lockett the other day on the podcast, and Kyle and Pat, they froze. They
We
like
did.
they like didn't know what they didn't know what to say. They were like, wait.
We're used to Denny bringing up bad players who aren't ever going to accomplish anything.
They're confusing him with Doug Baldwin. Is he in the league? He's not in the league.
They were like, wait. Did this guy just say Tyler?
That was very powerful. Did Denny seriously just say Tyler Lockett?
And I mean, when I said it, I was like, I'm waiting for a response, and I'm not getting one, and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, anyways, so no, when I said no more Bears talk, I also meant no Titans talk whatsoever.
That's unfair. I've been a Titans fan almost my entire life, and
you have Denny, Titans fan since '69. Andy, take us through your past 3 or 4.
Somebody stole Mason Taylor from me. I didn't get the full Jets stack that I
was
pretty
after.
brutal.
That's a tough
it's
one.
a brutal thing to be hoping
No
for
coming back
late
from
in the
that.
draft.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
tough
even
one.
worse to not get it.
It's a real tough one.
it's pretty gross. To be honest.
Anybody have a
Where
pick?
we at on the Lion stack? Has Denny built the full thing?
He did. He built the Lions Death Star. He got Goff. It's kind of a shame.
The tight end. Oh, so someone take Fannin. That's okay. Come on.
They did. Someone did take Van.
Yes, I don't know who it was though.
Oh no, was it you?
Yeah.
So okay, we haven't talked about Fannin since like May.
Wake up, Denny.
Wake up! So in April and May, not a joke. Basically every show we talked about Harold Fannin, and like once actual football started, he's like never come up again. Why are you bringing him back, Pat? Why are you bringing back the Harold Fannin?
I'm not bringing him back. The Browns brought him back. They rested him with the starters. They rested him with the starters.
Hell yes.
This guy has a role out of the gate. He's going to be, a rotational tight end, I suppose, but I think he's going to run like half the routes maybe.
Serious, all kidding aside, if you use the 3rd round pick on an H-back, like there's only one thing an H-back really reliably does, and that's like catch passes.
Stop calling him an H-back.
He's an H-back. That's what it's
H-back?
calling. It's an H-back.
He's not an H-back.
He's an H-back.
Pat call any tight end that's good. Pat
He's
called
not a
him
tight end. He's an H-back. I'm going to look up to the
He's
actual
an F
dictionary.
tight end. He's not an H-back.
He's an H. I guess he's not lining up like behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, look, you're
So
like,
basically, Pat thinks that Fannin is Ben Sinat.
He's like Charles Clay or something.
he's not
Come on.
Charles Clay.
He's Charles Clay.
He's like Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, that's good though if you're Charles Clay.
Oh, that's good. That's a
No,
good
it's
one.
not.
Yes,
Stop.
but he's
You
not
don't
like
mean that.
Charles Clay. He's not like a hybrid running back tight end. He's a slot receiver who plays tight end.
I guess the reason I can't stop calling him an H-back is because he runs like an H-back. Like no one's ever
Well,
run
definitely-
more like an H-back than Harold Fannin.
Well, he runs like a duck, right?
Exactly.
He
You
runs
can't
like
get
that.
away with that at tight end or wide receiver.
You guys
can only
heard about JJ Zachariason meeting his mom, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Didn't we all meet his mom?
We did.
That was
We
great.
actually did.
You
yeah.
all met his mom?
Well, I
Oh, they
didn't
were
introduce
lovely.
myself. Only JJ did, I believe. Oh no, Andy.
Okay,
did.
all right.
No, I did.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you guys the story that you were there for. Tell me the story.
Right, we were there. Well, she was there.
That's very cool. Yeah, and she said that she taught him to run like a duck.
Wait, what?
I forget the reason why.
Did someone say? Okay, someone just picked Cole Kmet for me. I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah, it's funny.
Taylor.
Like initially, I was
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm so excited in this format. You get 20 roster spots, and then you look at what's actually there. With
Yeah.
picks 19 and 20. Zeke Elliott bubbling up to the top of the queue.
Yes. All right,
Rough.
fine. I'm gonna take Ferguson. Then
Did I saw you scroll past Ben Sinat? He's a real H-back, right?
he is.
There's
and
Sinat. How do you even say it? Senate.
he was never gonna be good. Let's be real.
No,
Pat, it doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter. Is there a Ben S Hive at all still? Or no.
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 So that's this Fannin next year then.
So
Come on.
let's check out these 20th round. So Slayton is the 20th rounder. That's actually a pretty good one.
It's good. It's a good 20th round.
McMillan, I guess, is it?
It's awful.
So Higbee is one, and then I took Ferguson, his backup or the tight end too for the Rams. But Ferguson's like kind of freakish, right, Kerrane?
Is Josh Norris's favorite player?
Yeah, he's very athletic. Yeah,
Yeah,
Terry
So,
Ferguson.
not a bad 20th round pick.
but they don't really use two tight ends, so oh well.
And Tyler Higbee's Sean McVay's favorite human. for some reason.
I actually don't mind Anthony Richardson as a 20th rounder.
I had him in the queue. I was ready to fire off Richardson as a 20th round pick in best ball. Come on.
I want you guys to remember in November that when
Denny Wyclef Jeaning here.
When Riley, as usual, when Riley Leonard starts.
Right, Pat, I'm making this pick for you.
Remember, I said that.
This is just to get you going here.
I'm December.
Oh, Wick.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Week 17 bring back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, again, I keep creating new Hall of Fames every day, but Dontavian Wicks is combining the never been good Hall of Fame and the fell for it again Hall of Fame into one August institution.
Dontavian Wicks checks.
That's a Packers tradition going back to Jermichael Finley.
That's true, Andy. He checks every what, didn't he?
Spreadsheet box. Everyone.
And thankfully the game ain't played on no spreadsheet.
Well, it should be, is what is my point.
It should be. We should take everyone through. It might be a little.
Game literally is.
Might be a little tedious, but I'm going to have everyone read all 20 of the roster spots, give a few ideas on the construction, if they're happy, if they're sad. Denny Carter, I guess we'll start with you. I don't know who to start with. You're all worthy of being started with, but we'll start with Mr. Denny.
All right, so up top in the first round, 7th pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown, then Brock Bowers. Then I reached on Jameson Williams. Then I reached on George Pickens.
Then you stopped the slide for James Conner.
James Conner in the 5th, Laporta in the 6th, Charbonnet in the 7th, which I felt pretty good about. Pittman in the 8th, Jared Goff to complete the Lions stack in the 9th.
Jacory,
Krosky, Merritt, JCM/Bill in the 10th. Braylon Allen in the 11th. Sorry for trigger crane. Adam Thielen in the 12th, Cam Ward in the 13th, Tyler Algier in the 14th, and Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, Kyle Monungai, many are calling him, Eric Iomaner. I'm getting all the name guys.
Alec Iomaner.
Alec, not Alec, Illick. Iomaner, Richard Smith, and then is it Tyler Ferguson?
Terrence Ferguson.
Terrence G. Ferguson, the 4th. As my 20th.
That's such a rookie fantasy guy mistake to pick the guys whose names you don't know how to pronounce.
No, it's good. That means they're still a sleeper. If their name can't be pronounced, it means the rest of the public's not all, because everyone knows how to say Jacory Krosky Merritt now. You're not a sleeper anymore. Everyone knows Bill.
So I have a mini Titan stack. I have a mega Lion stack. And I have a bunch of running backs who stink, but they might fall into something of a workload at some point this year.
You have 3 quarterbacks. What's that all about?
Do we not do the?
Well, I guess it is 20 instead of 18 rounds.
Yeah, 3 quarterbacks is fine.
Yeah, 3 quarterbacks is totally normal for a 20 rounder, actually.
Right,
and they're 3 pocket passers, so it makes sense.
AKA won't get hurt on the run. Pat Kerrane.
Oh, they're going to be a little bit spiky.
Take us through your 20. Take us through if you're happy, sad, if this one is going to be the one that once again makes you a best ball millionaire.
I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Ladd McConkey, Lamar Jackson, Breece Hall, who I made a very compelling case for.
You did?
Denny, so compelling that Denny then reached for Braylon Allen.
I'm praying Andy took Isaiah Davis later.
Huge whiff on my part.
I got Zay Flowers stacked up with Lamar. Pacheco is my RB3. I pushed RB after that. Grabbed Juwan Jennings as my wide receiver 3. Mark Andrews stacked with Lamar. Jaden Reed, Christian Kirk, Luther Burden. Grabbed CJ Stroud with Kirk there, and the Ladd McConkey bring back on that. Austin Eckler, Ray Davis fill out the running back depth. Those are the only I only have 5 running backs, so these are the last 2 running backs that I grabbed. Hunter Henry, Harold Fannin finishing out tight end. Deontay Thornton, who I feel like is kind of interesting because he's immediately been a starter. I have no idea if he's good or not, but getting
that's always interesting.
Right away is cool.
Like Gabriel Davis did that, you know, when he was a rookie. Khalil Shakir kind of did that. I need to think of a non-Bills example. It's always very interesting when someone forces their way onto the field like that, though.
Yeah. I grabbed Hopkins as he's 10 picks past ADP and another stacking partner with Lamar. Little wide receiver depth on a team where I kind of pushed it early. And then finished out with Troy Franklin, who has not really been drafted much, even in this tournament with 20 rounds. So if he has a good playoff game, in a 12-team pod, you might be the only one with him, even if he's been solid to that point. So he's someone I'm trying to tack on now after the Vele trade, and then I grabbed Wicks partly as a bit, but also as a bring back on Lamar Jackson and the Packers stuff.
And also a very talented young player who wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if he just finally ironed out 50% of his issues, and that made him a viable NFL player. Wicks is not, like, all kidding aside, is like a pretty good 20th round flyer, I would say. So yeah, really good stuff as always from Pat. Andy Behrens, guest of honor. Who are your 20? How are you feeling?
Yeah, one thing I'd say is if it can be avoided at all, don't get yourself next to Pat in a best ball draft.
Yeah, I know.
That sucked. that was brutal.
Yeah, that's no fun.
almost any name that I put in queue was immediately gone.
Sorry.
So that was rough. Took Bijan Robinson in the first, one of, I don't know, maybe 5 guys who I think has a real shot at 2,000 total yards on the season, 60 plus catches. So that went well. Immediately after that, Jacobs, JSN, again, I think the world of JSN. I think he's in for a huge season. Like, if anybody's catching over 120 passes this year, I bet it's him.
JSN really could have like 160 target season. Like, there are bare outcomes for JSN, but I have been more focused on the bowl outcomes lately.
Yeah, there's just nobody else in that receiving core that is of great interest to me, and that's not, that's a bad way to compliment a player. I love everything I saw from him last year, and I fully believe that he can function outside the slot. I took Garrett Wilson, and then immediately knew, oh boy, I'm gonna end up pairing him with Justin Fields, which did eventually happen. I took a lot of pet players here because Pearsall was my next pick. He's I get him all over the place. He's definitely a pet player. And I'm clearly, I think I might be like 40 spots above ADP or above expert consensus on Ricky Pearsall. But I think that guy's a probable top 20, top 25-ish receiver. Got Golden, got Patrick Mahomes, and then whiffed on getting Kelsey or anybody reasonable to pair with Patrick Mahomes. So that was a dud. Took Addison because I just thought he really stood out on the board at the time as kind of an end of tier guy. Then I took Fields because I felt I had to. Took Jaden Blue. That might not go anywhere. Took Pop Douglas, Jerome Ford, Brenton Strange. Denny, do you see how I took nothing but guys whose names I can definitely pronounce?
Yeah. And that's analytics.
that is what the
underrated analytics.
I started to feel bad for Najee Harris, so I took him. Najee's going to play. I don't think not that I have any special knowledge of that team or his medical situation exactly, but I have not heard one thing that makes me think he's not going to recover from this and play. I don't know if it's going to be week 1, but man, that guy's never missed a game, and he's just going to be one of those buzzkill players for everybody that's got Hampton, right? Like, he's going to play a bunch. After that, another pet player, Ollie Gordon. I took him, I think, a little bit ahead of maybe 20 picks ahead of where he's been going, but this is happening on a day when Wright got hurt.
I bet you he wouldn't have come back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't necessarily think he would come back, and his name was really close to actually being in the scroll. So I was like, oh man, I better take him now, or I'm not going to get him. And then recognizing that I was a little light on tight end, I took Isaiah Likely and Elijah Arroyo. I'm really hoping one of those guys pops. Took A.D. Mitchell, took Zacchaeus, the guy who is currently kind of a seat warmer for Luther Burden. I don't expect him to hold that job for long, but man, every day out of Bears camp, every day out of these practices, it seems like Zacchaeus and Rome Odunze and Colston Loveland are the headline players. And then I was dejected at losing out on Anthony Richardson and just fired off a Noah Gray pick to end it.
I was not quite ready for that. I was still taking a sip of coffee where I'm still people are still bummed about missing out on Anthony Richardson. We'll just never stop as an industry. And you know what? That's fine. We got to live our truth. And
I have a bummer of a blurb that went up a few minutes ago on Rotoworld.
Denny, maybe you shouldn't date this show, by the way, because this show is live.
Here's what I'm hearing out of Commander's camp. Dan Quinn said Chris Rodriguez is, quote, likely the goal line back.
C-Rod Nation, rise up.
No, it's over for JCM is what I'm saying.
Bill, it's never been more.
I will say it was like kind of a leading question. Like, hey, do you see Cris Rodriguez in this role? And the answer was like, yeah, he can do that.
It's never been more JCM over.
Hey, that's
JCM.
good context, Andy.
That is good context from Andy. One of his specialties, contextualizing fantasy football for years and years. Patrick, final thoughts there?
I also think that on the Bill stuff, like this dude went from 7th round pick Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt to the talk of camp to Bill to he's going to be the starter. Like 3 weeks ago, there was a video going around of people saying who's standing out at Commanders camp, and like it was like 4 of the 6 people said Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and these are beat writers there, and one dude was like he's going to be the starter by December, and then we get the Brian Robinson's not going to be on this team stuff from Standard like a week ago. And it's like, come on. And then we get the real stuff. We're like, oh, he just had it early. He really isn't going to be on this team. To me, this is all pointing to like, this dude came in and took a job. And now it doesn't mean he's going to like have the full job out of the gate. He's a rookie. They're going to probably ease him in. I'm sure Rodriguez will have a role, but this is happening. I know that there's some stuff of like, they didn't like Robinson's fit for the offense. He wasn't explosive enough, more of like a power runner, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that too. But none of this happens if they don't find Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I think. I think they just keep Brian Robinson if they don't have him.
Yeah,
so
that's probably right.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. Really good way to put a bow on it. Everyone's talking about Bill, so why should we be any different? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Just thank you so much. 3 of the premier names in the entire fantasy football industry. Patrick Kerrane, Denny Carter, Andy Behrens. I was trying to think like what I want to list them all first, second, and third in the order. Just seriously, 3 of the best names, 3 of the best analysts in the entire industry. Really, really fun to watch them do a draft. Really, really, really fun all day on Rotoworld Draft Day. We hope you've been enjoying the content. So for Denny Carter, Patrick Kerrane, Andy Behrens, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you so much for joining us for this, and we'll keep talking to you as the season gets closer.